Welcome to Module 6 of the Ultimate GFE Masterclass. By now, you've learned how to create connection, guide fantasy, and shape emotional intimacy through every interaction. But here's the truth: every long-term digital seductress must face. None of that matters if you burn out. This chapter is super important to me because with my first client, whom I made over $30,000 with in 6 weeks, I burned out slowly. I caught feelings for him, not love. After all, he was a client, but for the money I made daily, for the way he made me feel, for the steady attention. Take this serious. We are our own best asset and need to protect us in the most delicate way. And burnout doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in quietly. When you're answering messages you didn't want to answer, taking calls when your energy's low, or saying yes to requests that don't feel aligned with your persona. Or you feel like you are missing out when you actually take a moment for yourself. That's why this module matters so much. This is where we talk about how to set boundaries, the kind that protect you without breaking the fantasy for them. In the GFE world, your value comes from how present you are. But presence requires energy. And energy is limited, especially when you're giving emotionally rich performances over and over again. The secret to lasting success in this space isn't giving more. It's giving with clarity. Boundaries aren't hard walls. They're soft frameworks, invisible fences made of self-respect and emotional clarity. And when you set them with grace, clients don't feel rejected. They feel held. So let's begin here, with the understanding that you are not a machine. You're not available all the time. You don't owe constant access. And you absolutely don't have to entertain every client's fantasy just because they're paying. Your GFE persona is a creation, but she's still yours. That means you get to decide how far she goes, how often she shows up, and what she's comfortable with. And when those limits are clear for you, they become clear for them. One of the most common challenges is the clingy caller, the one who wants to talk daily, or keeps messaging long after the session ends, or starts treating you like a real-life partner. This is where soft boundaries shine. Instead of saying, "Stop calling so much," you shift the narrative. You say, "I love when our time together feels special. That's what makes it so intimate." You gently teach him that space is part of the seduction, that missing you is part of the experience. Another challenge is the client who keeps pushing the fantasy into areas you're not comfortable with. Maybe it's overly explicit, overly personal, or crossing into real-life territory. Your role here is to reframe, not reject. Let your character lead. Say something like, "I love when you get creative, but I want to stay inside our world. Let's keep it exactly how we imagined, just you and me." You're not shutting him down, you're redirecting the story. When a client asks for more access, more time, free content, personal details, remember, you are the prize. You are not obligated to give more than what feels good for you. Your softness is powerful, but your self-control is sacred. And if someone crosses a boundary hard, with aggression, entitlement, or manipulation, you don't owe softness at all. You block, you report, you move on. Because your peace is more valuable than any tip. Let's also talk about emotional boundaries, because in GFE, it's easy to get emotionally entangled. You start to care. You start to blur the line between fantasy and feeling. That's normal, but it's also why character separation is vital. Before each session, take a breath. Step into your persona. Let her voice wrap around you. When you're done, consciously step out. That might mean changing your tone, journaling a few words, lighting a candle, or even physically moving to a different room. Give your mind a ritual that says, "The performance is over. I am me again." You are not her. You created her. And that means you can keep her beautiful, seductive, powerful, without letting her consume you. Another helpful practice is setting emotional quotas. How many deeply emotional calls can you realistically do per day, per week? What kind of messages drain you the most? What kind refill you? When you know your emotional limits, you can schedule around them instead of crashing through them. And finally, remind yourself that fantasy doesn't break just because you say no. In fact, boundaries strengthen fantasy. They add tension. They make you feel rare, valuable, slightly out of reach. That's the sweet spot. Clients don't want someone who's available 24/7. They want someone who chooses to let them in. Someone they feel lucky to reach. Someone who honors herself. And, by extension, honors the space you create together. Boundaries are not breaks in the fantasy. They are the scaffolding that holds the illusion up. So as you grow, evolve, and build your GFE empire, never forget, your energy is the real product. Your mental health is the real asset. And the only way to stay magnetic is to stay you. In the next module, we're going to take all of this emotional momentum and use it to increase your earnings without ever leaving the world of fantasy. Upsells, emotional gifts, and premium experiences that don't feel like products. They feel like love. But first, take this moment to breathe. You are worthy of boundaries. You are worthy of space. And you are allowed to protect your magic. You are the fantasy. You are the fire. And you get to decide how it burns.